Straight Ballin, what's going on? Welcome back. Year 2. Bringing you guys back to Fantasy Flex. You already know how we do it. Every week, changing up the format this year, however, up on the standings and the league leaders, throwing that up at the end of the show. So let's get up into last week's standings, or last week's matchups, however. Like I said, I'm switching that up. Last week's first matchup of week 1, you got the Cali Ballers taking on the Polk County Pistols. Pistols taking that matchup 29-43 to 27-27. Leading scorer for the Cali Ballers, Josh Smith, 274 points on the week. Leading scorer for the Pistols, Marcus Camby with 268. I guess the old man still got some ball in him. Next matchup, you got the New York Ankle Breakers who took on Super Megatron. Super Megatron took on that matchup 25-87 to 22-01. Leading scorer for the Ankle Breakers was Al Horford with 321 points. Leading scorer for Super Megatron was Louis Scola with 302 points on the week. Let's move on up into the third matchup. That was between the Florida L Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. Big ups to Matt. I like that name, man. I'm feeling that. Leading scorer for the 76ers, Lamar Odom with 325 points. Leading scorer for the L Heat was Paul Millsap with 300 points. The L Heat take that matchup 24-15 to 21-45. And we move on up into our fourth matchup of last week of week 1. That was between the K-Town Riders and the Rip City Ballers. Rip City killing it, so big up to Rip City. Mr. Crook putting up the most points in the league last week. Only team breaking 3,000. 34-42 to 26-89 was the matchup. Leading scorer for Rip City was Pau Gasol with his 394 points. The man had a triple-double last night. So big ups there to Mr. Crook running his team and doing what he can. The leading scorer for the Riders was Tim Duncan with his 230 points. Let's move on up into the last matchup of last week. That was between the Bronx Hoop Stars and Team Castor. Team Castor takes that matchup 29-85 to 27-28. Close matchup. However, the leading scorer for the Hoop Stars, Blake Griffin, 283 points. Leading scorer for Team Castor was Rudy Gay with 332 points. And we'll get up into a preview of this week's matchups. Tune into your scoreboard tabs if you'd like to know more about what's going on around the league. However, this week you got the 1-0 Polk County Pistols taking on the 0-1 Bronx Hoop Stars. Then you got the 0-1s, which would be the Cali Ballers and the Philadelphia 76ers, both looking for their first win on the year, taking on each other this week. Then you got a matchup of the unbeatens, Super Megatron taking on the L Heat from Florida. Both teams are unbeaten right now at 1-0, so let's see what happens. Who will be 2-0 and who will be 1-1. Tune in next week to the show, you'll find out. Then you got the fourth matchup of this week, which is going against another set of 0-1s. The New York Ankle Breakers taking on the K-Town Riders. Both teams trying to get their first win of the year, trying to bounce back after a bad start. And then the next one, you got another matchup, final matchup of the week between Team Castor and the Rip City Ballers. Final matchup of the unbeatens, finally. See what goes on. Rip City, a hard competitor to go against, so Team Castor's going to have his hand full. Let's get up into the standings. 2 divisions. Division 1 right now is being headed by 3 teams. You got the Rip City Ballers, Team Castor, and the Polk County Pistols all standing on that division at 1-0. Then you got the Bronx Hoop Stars and the K-Town Riders who are both 0-1. So see what happens next week. Check it out. Moving on up to the second division, Division 2. That's being headed by 2 teams, which would be Super Megatron and the L Heat by way of Florida. They're both 1-0. The other teams, the Cali Ballers, the New York Ankle Breakers, and the 76ers are all 0-1. So let's see what happens next week. We'll have some ties, get a little bit juicier, I guess, because things are going to be shaking, getting it off, getting it popping. Let's get up into the league leaders. Going like this. Field goals made. Let's go into the Rip City Ballers. Get ready, folks. You guys are going to be hearing this team a lot. Rip City Ballers. Field goals made, 684. Next team behind them will be Team Castor with his 647. Field goals attempted, that's also going to the Rip City Ballers, who's got 14 or 1,480. Nice comfortable lead ahead of Team Castor. Over 100 right there basically, because he's only got 1354. Free throws made with 388. That's going to the Rip City Ballers, followed by the Cali Ballers who are right behind him with 372. Free throws attempted is going to the Rip City Ballers, who's got 497. Right behind him are the Cali Ballers with 465. Three-pointers made, it's going to myself, the Polk County Pistols, with 121. However, there's a pretty tight race for this category between the K-Town Riders and the Ankle Breakers. The Ankle Breakers are behind with 105. The K-Town Riders a little bit further up ahead of him with 110. That can switch anytime, folks. Now let's get up into the offensive rebounding category. With a pretty safe, comfortable lead on that one. That's going to the Rip City Ballers. He's got 234 offensive rebounds. Next team behind him will be myself, the Polk County Pistols. Defensive rebounds, however, on the other hand, that's going to the Rip City Ballers, and right behind him on there will be the Bronx Hoop Stars. Rip City's got 504. The Hoop Stars got 464. Pretty good lead there, over 50. Rebounding category altogether, that's going to the Rip City Ballers, who's got 738. 100 ahead of me, which will be the next dude in line. The Polk County Pistols with 620. Moving up to the assist category, that's going to the Cali Ballers with 373 assists on the week so far. Leading the league, ahead of him, or behind him, however, would be the Bronx Hoop Stars, 312. So he's pretty good margin behind. Steals category, Rip City Ballers got that one right now. Like I said, folks, Rip City, Rip City, Rip City, rip that, rip this. It's all you're going to be hearing, so tough competitor. Be on the lookouts. Big ups to Mr. Crook, man. He knows what he's doing there. Steals category, he's got that locked down, 135. Team Casters behind him with 128. And right behind him are the Cali Ballers, so big up to Tone. He's active too, man. He's a beast. He's got 115. Blocks category now we switch over to. That's going to the Cali Ballers. 103 blocks on the year so far. Right behind them will be myself, the Polk County Pistols, with 97 blocks. So that can switch next week. Let's see what happens. Moving on up to a bad category, I guess you want to call it. Turnovers. I guess we'll go over this 4 times. 2 best and 2 worst. Most turnovers on the year is going to the Rip City Ballers with 229. Right behind them is the Cali Ballers, who's got 220. The best team with the least amount of turnovers is going over to the K-Town Riders, who's only got 166, and 20 back from him would be the Florida L Heat. Let's see. Double-doubles. The Rip City Ballers leading the way in that. Got 22 double-doubles. Next 2 teams behind him will be the Pistols and the Florida L Heat, both tied up with 18. And behind that, you got 3 other teams tied up with 14. Triple doubles, we've got 4 teams that have had triple doubles. The Bronx Hoop Stars, the Florida L Heat, Super Megatron, and the Rip City Ballers. So big ups to those owners. And the leader in points so far, as far as points scored in the game, that's going to the Rip City Ballers with 1821. Next team behind him will be Team Caster, and he's well below 100 points on that category with 1703. And that's pretty much it. That's been the Fantasy Flex. Over here running it. As far as the shows, we'll keep running these every Tuesday or every Monday. Tuesdays come out the football editions, you know what I'm saying, for those in the football leagues. But that has been the Fantasy Flex. I'm Flex. And Flex out. See y'all next week.